had a lovely bus ride from Loen up to see the Brixtell Glacier. There were wonderful views of the lake and the fjord going up to Brixtell, but I couldn't get any of them through the coach windows very well. Anyhow, we then had a little bit of a walk, and we were hoping to get one of these Norwegian fjord horse-drawn carriages up the path up to see the Brixtell Glacier. But when we got there, we found that they were all booked, so we couldn't get one. So we had to walk, and it was quite a walk and quite a climb, and it was a very hot day. We saved ourselves a bit of money. If I remember, it was about £16 each that we saved. At the time, I think we'd rather have gone in the horse and cart. Halfway up the path, there's this wonderful bridge crossing over the waterfall, and the path gets covered in the spray, and this particular view, taken from a bit closer, is one of the most famous views in Norway. It appears in a lot of pictures of the horse and carriage just crossing over that bridge to the right there now. There's the glacier at last. We're getting closer to it. Took us about 2 hours to walk up. Actually reached the place where the horses were released from the shafts for a rest and a feed and a watering. I was told by one of the girls that looked after the horses, well, girls and boys look after horses, young people, girls and boys, young people. I was told that the horses do the trip 3 or 4 times a day. This might have been the girl who told me. These lovely stocky Norwegian fjord horses. Oh, lovely stocky Norwegian goats. They're often a bit tall as well. At the foot of the glacier. What a wonderful sight. Well worth a trip. One of my tick-off lists in life was to go to a glacier. You can get some idea of the size of it with the people on it. And there were lots of people there. I think half of them were Japanese. I think it was the Japanese that had booked all those horses. We learned that we could have done if we'd pre-booked at the hotel, but we found that out later. There's a fence down at the bottom where it said it was dangerous to go closer. There's all sorts of dangers with the glacier, caused by the fact that it's moving at the rate of about 1 metre a day. We got onto the ice and the mud. Other bits of glacier up at the top there, parts of the Jostedalsbreen. And while we were there, we heard a terrific rumble, and away up on the glacier, on the main one, the Brixtell Glacier, to not on this picture, we saw a great avalanche of ice fall down, and as we were walking back down, when we were below the trees so we couldn't see, we heard another great rumble like thunder as some ice avalanched down. Wonderful blues in the ice, blue colours. Next day, a trip to see another glacier, to see the Kjensdal glacier. We went on a boat up Lake Loen. Nobody lives in this valley now, but people used to do a little bit of farming in one or two other places, but it's a very unsafe valley, as they found out to the cost, because there have been a couple of major disasters here. I've forgotten the dates, around about 1930s, when on each occasion something like 70 people were killed when villages and farmsteads were wiped out with rockfalls, when great chunks of mountain fell off and caused tidal waves in the lake which washed out things. This is one of the sites. You can see the great scar in the mountainside still. This is where a great chunk of the mountainside fell off, and there are still remains of some of the twisted girders and things of a bridge down there. Notice the colour of the water. It's a bluey green, which is all to do with the sediments brought down by the sea today, the Kjensdal glacier. When we got off the boat, there amongst the trees was an old bus waiting for us, and we journeyed up another, I don't know, quarter of an hour by bus. There's the bus. The bus, and then again we had to walk, not so far and not so steep this time, but tricky going. You can see the rocks and boulders. All this is glacial boulders, lots of smaller ones, some great huge ones. These are the mountainside stones that are all carried down by the glacier. This glacier again had notices to say that it was dangerous to go near, and I think you could see that this one was a lot more dangerous than the other one, because there were great tall cliffs of ice there, whereas the other glacier was flat at the bottom. Unfortunately, because nobody is near, you can't get much idea of the size of those blocks of ice, but you can see where they've collapsed, and boulders of ice have come charging down. So I went round the side of the glacier to try and get as close as it to take a picture of it. So here I am at the side of the glacier, but I decided it wasn't very safe when I heard the gravel clattering down and moving. All of a sudden there was a rockfall fairly close to me, so I moved back to where it was supposed to be safe, or it was anyhow. But even down there you can see over to the right a great boulder of ice and several of others that have gone bouncing off the glacier down almost as far as where Barbara's sitting. So at this glacier you are aware of the danger when you're close to it, and you've got your eyes open all the time ready to jump if need be. To where we got off the boat, where we're going to get back on the boat to go down Lake Loen. And there's a little cafe here, and it's all very well timed by the locals, extremely well timed. There's just sort of 3/4 an hour handily arranged so that you can rest yourself and have refreshment after your trip. Boat going down, back down the lake, and we're just passing the spot where the mountainside collapsed, where there are the iron girders and things, the remains of bridges and things that used to be there. Nearly blocks the lake here. There's just a narrow passage that the boat has to go through fairly slowly. There's the narrow passage that we've just come through. The Alexandra Hotel swimming pool. And some more country dancing. I think I said the last one was the Alexandra Bar. That wasn't, that was at the Quickneys. This is in the Alexandra Bar. At the last one I forgot to say that the children who were dancing, both Barbara and I had a dance with them. But we didn't dance with these. Oh wait a minute, no, Barbara had a dance. Yeah. Thursday the 13th of July. A 14:10 bus from Lowen to Strin and through Hornindal to Hellesund. And then we got a ferry along the Geiranger Fjord to Geiranger. So this is the ferry at Geiranger. That's going to take us to Geiranger. This is the ferry at Hellesund. The bus that we've just come on. And you can see what sort of buses they are. They have a van at the back because they do the deliveries as well. And now they sail up the marvellous Geiranger Fjord. Waterfalls all around, high mountains all around, the occasional little farms at the top of little ledges. Barbara and Betty and Jean. Betty and Jean from Old Trafford in Manchester. And my rucksack. And a few other bags. We had to carry our bags with us on all these trips, of course. So it's a good job we didn't take too much luggage. And there they are, sightseeing. Water pouring down these cliff faces all around us. Barbara wanted to know where all the water came from. This little group of waterfalls is called the Seven Sisters. Side of the fjord. That waterfall they call the Suter, or the Wooer. And the story is that because he's been wooing the Seven Sisters for all these thousands of years and getting nowhere, he's taken to drink. And there in the waterfall at the bottom you can quite definitely see the whiskey bottle. There it is. Taken to the bottles. Here we are coming up to Geiranger, the Union Hotel at Geiranger, and there's the view out of our bedroom window. The fjord down below, wonderful. Even a river and a waterfall outside our window. Next day, in the morning, there's a liner out in the fjord called the Crown Odyssey, the liner, with loads of Americans on board.